Alright guys, this week we're changing it up. Gonna do the breakdown scene by scene as I watch the show. Here we go. Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 5. So we open the episode with Bran pulling Jamie out of the water, which we expected since it doesn't make sense for Bran to have saved Jamie's life from the dragon, only to find out that he drowns in the water. And Bran wasn't wearing full plate and armor like Jamie, so he could swim. What we did not expect was for Bran to have seemingly dragged Jamie hundreds of yards underwater. Watch out, Michael Phelps, Bran's coming for you. So Bran lets Jamie know that he won't be around if the dragons show up on King's Landing's doorstep, and Jamie tells Bran that he has to warn Cersei. Bran responds that he may as well jump back into the river, which is symbolic of Jamie falling back into that river of Cersei, time and time again, but I have a good feeling that their ways are going to part soon. Holy moly, Scene 2. It starts with Tyrion walking through the burnt remains of the battlefield, seemingly mourning over the losses on both sides of the battle, possibly wondering if this war is worth it. We get an incredible shot of Dany, and right away, we can see how closely bonded she is with Drogon. He screams at the soldiers to kneel when she's thinking about it. This obvious bond with Drogon is so cool, and the CG is fantastic. Now last week, I mistakenly called her insane when she blew up to Tyrion. That's a word I use loosely, and I was implying that she was acting insane in that moment, not calling her clinically insane. The issue got muddier because I proceeded right into saying how I was unhappy with her going to battle. I felt this way because she's been preaching about me, Iron Throne lately. I just want her to start fighting for the people, the way she used to back in Essos. And she starts off great. She gives everyone the option to bend the knee, which is similar to Aegon the Conqueror. He was brutal on the battlefield, but gracious to all those that bent the knee. Unfortunately, neither Randall nor Dickon would bend the knee, and so she burnt them. I'm not giving up on her, but come on. I'm with Tyrion on this one. Prison would have been the best option, and I could see her executing them with a quick, clean death, but burning them was just... I'm worried about her, guys. So Jamie arrives back to Cersei and tells her that it's a war they can't win. He informs her that Olenna confessed to murdering Joffrey, and for a moment, Cersei looks as if she realizes that she's been fighting the wrong battle all along. If she had not gone after Tyrion for murdering Joffrey, Tywin would probably still be alive. The Lannisters would be in a much better position. This would have been symbolic of the bigger picture. If she realized that fighting humans is a mistake right now, for Cersei and for Dany. The true enemy is up north. But nope, moments later, she sees nothing but red again. So Dany flies back to Dragonstone and she's got on a pretty nice shade of lipstick. Jon reaches out his hand to Drogon to smell it like he's a dog or a wolf, and then he looks into Drogon's fiery eyes. That shot was powerful. As a viewer, that was the first time I truly saw Drogon as an equal instead of a beast. I feel ashamed for that. Dany mentioned that she's fighting for the people again, which is the second time this episode, so I like this trend, and then Jorah shows back up. Hopefully he'll be able to bring out the best side of her. It's really interesting to see Jorah and Jon in the same scene, since Jon's father, Ned, would have executed Jorah for selling some poachers to slavers to earn money for his gold digger of a wife. Moreover, Jon was the personal steward for Jorah's father, G.R. Mormon, up at the wall. Jon's best friend Sam healed Jorah, and Jon is wielding the ancestral Mormont Valyrian steel sword Longclaw. I would love for Jon to give Longclaw back to Jorah and somehow get his hands on the Dane's ancestral sword Dawn, even though Jon is not a Dane. And it's worth noting that Dany asked Jon why Davos mentioned a dagger through his heart, and Jon avoids the question. Bran then skin changes an entire flock of ravens and they fly all the way from Winterfell to the wall, which is hundreds of miles, and he's still sitting outside, so he must be freezing. He spots the Night King chilling on an Arrowhead Rock formation, which if I'm not mistaken is something that Sandor mentioned earlier this season in his fire vision. Bran then plans on sending out ravens to inform his allies of the dead army position and numbers. Down at the Citadel, Sam walks in on a meeting, probably Archmaesters. He informs them that the dead army is real, and they sort of shrug it off, believing that it is probably just a ploy by Dany to get the castles to send their troops north to make her conquest easier. I'm going to reanalyze the Maester scenes this week, because there might be more to this. In the books, the Archmaester of Magic, which is the one study that is looked down upon, well, he warns Sam not to mention the dead army to the Archmaesters, or they will kill him. These Maesters don't seem as hostile against magic, so I'll leave it at that for now. We go back to Dragonstone, where Tyrion's drinking again. This was something that he gave up when he found a new purpose in life, Daenerys. But he's worried, and so is Varys. Bran's letter arrived, and Tyrion wants to know what it says, even though it was directed to Jon. Varys denies prematurely opening it, but Tyrion calls his bluff. Varys has already read it. These two are great together. Jon learns that Arya and Bran are alive, yet he keeps his head focused on the dead army. Jon's the man. Tyrion comes up with a plan to bring a white down to King's Landing to prove to Cersei that the true threat is the dead army, and Jorah steps up like, I'll do it. Jon also volunteers, but technically, he's a prisoner. But Dany caves in because she finds him pretty dreamy. Whoa, wild scene in Winterfell. The lords are pissed that Jon has left. I've been on Sansa's case lately, but I was really proud of the way she handled it. But Arya was not satisfied. Arya is not cool with the lords speaking about Jon that way, and considers killing them. Arya's nuts. And if you did not catch it, there was a blatant sound of wind. I truly believe that wind is one example of the true language. Dead people talking to you. Words are wind. Maybe that's why Arya was seemingly able to read Sansa's mind. Because Arya is seeing, truly seeing. Her mind is open. So Davos smuggles Tyrion into King's Landing, and somehow Bronn knows about the plan, so he tricks Jaime into going into the cellar to train with Bronn. Tyrion and Jaime presumably rebond, since Jaime now has a clearer picture of the past events, and Tyrion also presumably makes plans to bring the White down to King's Landing. Davos then finds Gendry, who's all kinds of amped up. He avoids some drama by convincing two gold cloaks that fermenting crab is like Viagra, but then Tyrion shows up. So Gendry smashes their faces with 2 clean shots of a warhammer, just like his dad, King Robert Baratheon, would have done. Jaime meets with Cersei and lets her know that he met with Tyrion, but she already knew, which lets us know that the little birds are still in Qyburn's pocket. Then we find out she's preggers. That's crazy. If Jaime has to kill her down the road, it's no longer going to be completely satisfying, it's going to be heartbreaking. I'm speechless. Brilliant writing. It's disgusting, but I'm very impressed. I did not see that coming. Gendry and Davos then get back to Dragonstone, and instead of keeping his identity secret, Gendry reveals his identity right away to Jon, which makes sense since Ned and Robert were best friends growing up, and Jon and Gendry are their bastards. Well, Jon is not by blood, but let's be real, Jon is Ned's bastard son. So we may never see Ned and Robert warring together, but it looks like we'll get Jon and Gendry, which is pretty awesome. And saddle up, ladies, lock and load, Gendry is ready to roll. In 2 quick scenes, Gendry is literally becoming one of my favorite characters in the entire show. Tyrion then reunites with Ser Jorah and wishes him good fortune since Tyrion knows that Ser Jorah is crucial to keeping Dany's head on straight. At the Citadel, Gilly blatantly reads a passage about Rhaegar getting an annulment and remarrying Lyanna, which means Jon is legally a Targaryen. But Sam doesn't connect the dots. Instead, he flips out because there are bigger issues at hand. The dead army. And I know a lot of fans are going to love this. Yay, Jon's not a bastard. But the thing is, it does not matter. If being a legal Targaryen is better than being a bastard when the snow melts, then the world's no better off than the way it started. I love the way that the writers hinted at this through Sam's anger at the ridiculousness of it all. And even better, Sam went and got a bunch of the books from the private section and stared up at the astrolabe. Hopefully, he got books like The Unnatural History, Fire and Blood, and some other really important ones. I'll definitely be expanding on this topic this week. This is huge. This is the biggest moment in an episode full of big moments. Littlefinger gets a sole copy of a letter that Sansa wrote to Winterfell when she was hostage in King's Landing. Arya sneaks in and finds it, but Littlefinger obviously wanted her to find it. So maybe he planted a different letter there, or maybe he simply wants to cause more friction between Arya and Sansa, since Arya might be mad at Sansa for writing this. But I'd hope that Arya's smarter than this, because obviously Sansa was hostage. She was forced to write that letter. Either way, Littlefinger's plotting, and as much as I despise who he is, I'm pumped to see him back in the game causing chaos. And in the last scene, Jon and co arrived at Eastwatch by the Sea, which is the castle at the wall on the eastern coast. The Brotherhood and the Hound are there, they're locked up, and past quarrels begin to resurface. Gendry condemns the Brotherhood for selling him to Melisandre, and Ser Jorah speaks up, which is ironic since he did something similar. He sold poachers to slavers. Tormund's not happy when he finds out that he's standing next to a Mormont, since Lord Commander Mormont was basically his enemy, the Free Folk's enemy. But as usual, Jon tells everyone to put the past behind, because it's time to move forward. Together.